You know what's crazy is that, like, even before you started talking, FB wrote in the chat, in the Black community, where single motherhood is nearly 70%, which is crazy if you think about that stat. The women and men don't have anyone to emulate. They do have people to emulate, but it's not those that are going to lead you to the ideologies to continued health, wealth, and prosperity. Mm-hmm. It's their views in their hoods, in their communities, with the mindsets that they have. Mm-hmm. And that's the problem. But that's the beautiful thing about the internet, because I could be sitting here with my own life experiences, and I can have someone in the hood in the library right now looking at this content and understanding what life means outside of the people that taught it to them. Right. It's kind of like 100 years ago, if you were a farmer, you only knew how to farm based off of what your family had passed down from generation to generation. Right. Now I could do a Google search and find some dude in Australia that looks nothing like me that might teach something to me that I never had an idea about to help improve agriculture and where I'm at right now. Right. And that's the beauty of this exchange of information in a way that we haven't seen before. And I feel like the people that look like us will most benefit because of the years of the decades, the centuries of systematic oppression that people that look like us has been put under. So now we have these ideologies that are trash to a degree that we can pull ourselves up out of, because we have people that look like us that have been world travelers. And then they can talk about world traveling. I blame us, the men, and also the men who are supposed to guide us. Oh, he wants us to take accountability.
Yes, thank you.
Because
how dare you?
On both sides.
I want y'all to be accountable as well.
That's not discrediting.
Because if we were properly educated about how to handle a woman and carry yourself as a man, we would have less issues. Fantastic comment. I wholeheartedly agree. So listen, you guys already know what's the focus on this channel, okay? Solutions. This is not a complaint channel. Complaint channels, the ones that don't challenge how we can do it better, those are the ones that are most subscribed to on the platform. Think about it. Call out your favorite, right? Complaint channels. Now, the ones that are solution focused, where, you know what I'm saying, you benefit regardless of the integrity in it, those also do very well.
Right. And that's how this about that.
Those also do very well. Those also do very well. But the ones that have integrity in the right mind, there's a component of this that is true. Now, I'm not going to just focus on what the cause of this might be, because there's a lot of causes of what this might be. I think a large degree of what that is the man who was supposed to lead us also grew up in single parent households. Smash Thompson says, I wish people stop talking so much about Cardi B when she is an industry plant to confuse the youth. I don't know what that means, bro. I don't know what that means. This now more than ever, there are people that get put on outside of media. They just get put on. They get self-selected into the people that want to listen to their shit. That's why you have to talk about people like that. That's why you have to talk about it. Because if not, you get very impressionable versions of us that just go along and think that everything that you see is Now, at the same time, what she has been represented before her music career is still better now. Okay? Still better now than stripper Cardi B. Okay? But you have to be able to talk about these things in a clear fashion, because there's a lot of us that are out there that are still looking for understanding. They're looking to understand their place in society and their role in the society. So I know that you wish that, but that's because you've attained the knowledge already. You understand what that is already. But trust and believe there's many people that look like you that have not. And they look at that as an idol. The Black community is a matriarchy where women lead. And because women are the takers, they rarely build anything outside of birthing men.
That's clearly an opinion, but I do. I mean, I'm like, I don't know what you want. Like, no, but I get why he has that opinion. Like, I get why he has that opinion, because a lot of the certain laws, like as far as divorce and stuff, they do work in the woman's favor. So I completely understand why he would consider women as takers, because of a lot of the basically the person that's spanking y'all ass is coming from a woman's standpoint, like they're on the woman's side. So I get why he would associate that with women as being takers.
Yeah. The two men who I always have looked up to my entire life are LeBron and Obama. Well, I won't say my entire life because Obama didn't get elected until 8. I ain't gonna lie, I know who it was before then. But when I look at those two men, yeah, they did their job very well and they do their job very well. But just them and how they operate, they know like they're setting that example. So when I think the dude earlier, what did he say? Something like, our fathers didn't, teach us right, and like the generations before us and stuff like that. I think that's your purpose, like to make sure every single thing, every component of your life, your fit, your health. You know what I'm saying? You can't call yourself an alpha male if you have health. Now, I'm not saying for like, stuff like cancer and all that shit. That's different. But you just a slob walking around. You can't move, walk up some stairs, you get tired. You can't call yourself an alpha male. You can't call yourself you can't call yourself a real man if your finances aren't together. If you're so dependent on everyone else, you need a woman for that mental stability. Like,
nope.
And I think
especially in America.
Exactly.
Because you can get it.
Especially as a minority.
Especially. And it's too much. And that's why, like, I self-select. I'll keep it funky with you, bro. Because we know the community that we run within. And maybe you don't have the exposure to it that I have, but I've been to a couple of functions up here, and it's educated Black people that do nothing but complain. Oh, yeah. They complain. And that bothers me. And it's because they haven't gone outside of this shit. They haven't gone outside of America. They have no idea. They have no idea what it is to grow up in a place where you have no options. You cannot self-select into something bigger and better based on how much you work for it. We don't live in a caste system. So I hear it and I'm just like, you motherfuckers still complaining? Or you above average income making still complaining? And it bothers me, bro. So how do you suppose you try to get that message across to someone without it, coming off as like, you should be content with any issues that might go on? Because someone could hear that and say like, oh, so what you telling me I should just be okay with the bullshit that goes on in America? Like, so how do you get your point across in that? Because I agree, but how do you get that message across where it's like, I'm not telling you to just become content to any, bullshit that you may have to endure just from who you are, but at the same time appreciate it because it's way better where you are than where half of the other side of the world is. Here's what I try to do. I first try to, because I rely on data, I rely on numbers, I rely on stats, statistics, things to provide me a basis for the things that I'm talking about, that I can sit well with the things that I'm saying in a way to try to inform a discussion forward. I first start to talk about poverty rates. And then I start to talk about crime rates. And then I start to talk about abortion rates. And I start to talk about all these things that we can objectively prove or over a period of time. I first start to do it there. And we are at a time where we are the most fed. We are the most healthy. We're living the longest. But it's not to say that there's not room for improvement. So I cap it off there. So there's things that you might be fighting for, or you might think that there's injustices on, and you should absolutely persevere towards greatness. But don't get it twisted and don't try to act like you're a victim. There's things that may happen that you might push the needle on in order to try to improve. And I get it, but we're not a victim in everything. Right. Some of the we self-select into, and we allow ourselves to dwell in this victimhood of bullshit, and we allow that, and it's people like us that don't put a finger at it and say, no, stop it. We were talking about earlier about the definition of how you define a queen. I don't think everyone who has an XX chromosome should be defined as a queen. There's a degree of privilege within there where you establish who is a queen based off of the merits, based off of the data. Michelle Obama is a queen. Anita Baker is a queen, right? We have examples of queens within the people that look like us that I feel like you cannot just ignore. I'd argue what I've seen with certain artists in our industry who utilize their body in order to prove a point. Those are not queens to me. That's not how I define queens, but it's okay. It's okay on the rank of what makes you the best. That we have levels to this. It's okay. There's champions. They're champions for a reason. Let's identify why they're champions and take components out of their personality in order to form how we should live our lives. Okay? The truth is in the Black community. If you don't have hood energy, you'll never be appreciated. Oh, let's talk about that. That's why so many intelligent Black men are leaving. This is the whole conversation. I don't know. You probably not familiar with this. Save Yourself, Black Men. It's an acronym. I don't know if you've seen it on the internet. SYSBM. And this is one of the components. And I've experienced this in my life, especially being from New York. And as a motherfucker, like video games as a kid. I like anime. Was a Dragon Ball Z fan. I'll let you guys know. I fucked with Pokemon back in the day. To a degree now too. I know the first 100. Okay. Yeah. I know the first 150. Okay. Right. There's components of my lifestyle where I wouldn't even let that be known around women that are the same skin complexion of me. And those that do not accept you because you fit a specific stereotype or you're corny if you do. And there's certain dudes that are just like, I'm out.
Yeah, that's true. And then I think it's a little bit different for you now just because you, how tall are you? Like 6'3", 6'4"?
I'm like 6'2"-ish
and
a little bit.
Yeah, so you a taller guy, you know what I'm saying? A little cut up, you know what I'm saying? Got tats and shit like that. But from your intangibles, so many like Black women will be like, nerd.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of Black men, they don't feel comfortable. I had a good conversation with one of my boys, and his name is Reynard. And he was like, yeah, bro. He said, sometimes I feel like I can't get a Black woman because I don't go by Ray Ray. And I started laughing because they always like, equate the whole Tyrone and Ray Ray. But I mean, I was like, I see what he's saying though, and it's like the women that seem to be more accepting of who that man is just from his inner self, a lot of times, I won't say all the time, but a lot of times just seem to either be women without color or women with color who grew up in those environments.
Or exposed to
it. What I'm saying? Right. Because, for a little second, when I would go back to my old neighborhood, there was a lot of guys who, I think you see that a lot. That's why Boozy said, like, a lot of rappers die in their own city because they think like, oh, this is trying to elevate. He trying to, you know what I'm saying? They see a sign from another Black man, his elevation and matriculation in life as that's a shot to me, some dumbass way possible. So they'll try to come and just end that shit because they so hypnotized with that hatred.